have a birthday party for my wife tomorrow at work. Some of her team members wanted me to put together her favorite meal. So I am going to do enchiladas, but I'm going to do a birria form of it with a sauce. Here you are looking at 3 peppers. I've got ancho, arbol, and then I have got some Anaheim that I roasted. I'm going to put in a bag here in a minute and let that skin kind of fall off of there. Now that I've got the chilies seeded, I'm going to go ahead and toast them a little bit to help bring some of the flavors back out and bring a little bit of the oils back into them. Now, as you can see, I've removed the chilies from the pan where I have charred them just a wee bit, and now I'm going to put some water on them and let them soak in there for about 20 minutes while I go ahead and get the other vegetables cut up. And what we're going to end up doing with those is we are going to char those as well in the same pan we put the chilies in. Now I've got the chilies pulled out and soaking, and I've cut up the onions and tomatoes, and I'm going to start charring those up a little bit here. The tomatoes are from my own garden and also from a farm market right across the street from us. Instead of using beef, I'm going to use some chicken. These here are some local butcher's chicken thighs, boneless, skinless, and I've just cut those up. They'll be going into the pot next here to get a little cook up, and then I'll start blending everything together. Okay, so we've put our peppers back into the onion and tomato mix. We've added some more garlic. We've added cumin. We've added oregano, Mexican oregano. Put apple cider vinegar in there, some avocado oil. We also did some bay leaves, and we've got some tri-colored peppercorns in there, which is a red, white, and black. We're going to let this simmer for a little bit, and then we're going to be putting our chicken in. Okay, we have got our consommé set up to a nice boil. I just added the Anaheim chilies. Also remember, when you're cooking, it's okay to go outside the box. You don't have to follow a recipe straight to order. Like with the Anaheim chilies, I couldn't find the 3rd chili I needed where I lived, so I just added something I knew would be good in the mix. So try to always think outside of the box and what's in front of you. Okay, there was one step that I forgot to mention that we got to do next. I'm going to put my immersion blender in here, and we are going to start bringing this down to a nice liquid consistency. Get everything blended up nice, and when it's all done, it'll be smooth and it'll be really delicious. Okay, as you can see, the immersion blender has done an amazing job on just really taking everything and breaking it down nicely to a nice, delicious looking sauce. One of the reasons I use an immersion blender is because my wife and I now do RV living, and it really saves on space. And just one thing to remember with that, make sure you get yourself an electric one because it's much more powerful. I had a rechargeable battery operated one, and it just didn't do the job that I needed it to do. So we've got this all done. Next thing we'll be doing is getting our chicken in here, and it will be on a nice slow cook, so that chicken can get all that flavor, and it'll be really easy to shred for what we're going to do with it later. What I'm working on now is, as my chicken cooks in the consommé, I have some pinto beans going that I have put garlic, oregano, Mexican oregano, brown sugar, onion, salt, pepper, and cumin in. And now I will be chopping up some of my own jalapenos that are growing in the garden and some across the street from where we live. One of the things to look for on your jalapenos is see how smooth these are. There's not a lot of striations on the outside of it, almost looking like stretch marks. That's how you tell the heat of the pepper. If it's got more striations on it, you're looking for a hotter pepper. If you've got something a little bit smoother, you're going to have a much cooler pepper. So I'm going to get these sliced up, and then I'll show you the beans. Now these are the beans I'm working on. As you can see, I've got the jalapenos in there, and if you look close, I've de-seeded and pulled out some of the veins on the inside to cool them down just a little bit more. I've got nice chunks of bacon in there. I forgot to add that. But when you're cooking for other people that you don't know their levels of heat, you want to kind of have a light to medium just to be safe. Let them know it's there, but don't overdo it. And one more tip, in my 46 years of existence, I have heard many different ways to get rid of peppers, jalapeno, whatever hot pepper you're working with, to get rid of that extra hot that you figure out you have on your hands when you scratch your eye or your nose or other parts. The tried and true way I found is gloves. None of the other ways have worked. I just use a good old pair of food grade latex gloves to cut up my peppers. Okay, we've let this simmer for about 4 hours, and as you can see, some of it's already pulling apart, so we'll just get a piece up here and just look how fork tender that is as it comes apart. That's going to make a great enchilada. Now we're going to start layering our enchilada lasagna. We're going to put some sauce down in the bottom of the pan. I'll always start, whether it's an Italian lasagna, any kind of lasagna I've decided to create, I always put sauce down first. Now we've got a layer of chicken down. Look how nice and shredded that is. Next, we're going to add a layer of corn tortillas. That is going to act as our lasagna noodle would. Now we have our layer of yellow corn tortillas down, and now we're going to do some cheese. I have a nice generous layer of cheese down. We're going to do some more tortillas, and then we're going to finish stacking our lasagna before we get it in the oven. Okay, we are all finished up stacking our lasagna. Next stop is the oven for about 1.5 hours. After about 6 hours on slow cook and about 30 minutes on pressure cook, our beans are all done and ready to go. Those are looking really good. She is finally out of the oven, and we have ourselves a nice golden crunchy top. There's nothing better than that. Just crunchy cheese. What I'll end up doing here is putting a fresh layer on to kind of let it melt in there and just have those mixtures of that creamy, soft, melted cheese and a little bit of that crispiness on top. Got ourselves a nice fresh layer of cheese on there, and if you look close in a couple spots, it's already starting to melt in there. Okay, the third and final dish for my amazing wife and her birthday dinner at work is some Spanish rice. I'm toasting up the rice a little bit here. I'm just using a white long grain rice. I've got some roasted garlic. I've got some tomato bouillon. It's a chicken based with tomato. Also have some more Mexican oregano, and I added some chili powder. And let me not forget the shallots that I've put in as well. So I'm going to toast this rice up, get the nice smells and oils coming out of it, and then I will add some more rice and some water, and we'll get cooking them down. Okay, so far we have our beans ready to go. We've got our enchilada lasagna cut up and ready to go. The only thing we have to put in the dish is the rice, and it's only got a couple more minutes. Our third and final entree, Spanish rice. Now time to put some aluminum foil on it, put a lid over it, and it's time to take it for my wife. Just got everything dropped off, and that's how you do big cooking and tiny living.